Tell her how bad it was for you so she'll know.
Sleepless nights, Vanessa, worrying about you, just, I couldn't live that way. And just not knowing if I was gonna come home and find you dead. I mean, I came home one time, I was at work, and I tried to get off work early.
The field. The NFL is on ESPN.
Brought to you locally by your Northwest Ford dealer.
Digital pay-per-view. The biggest stars. The hottest concert. Ricky Martin. Shania Twain. Plus Spice Girl Jerry Halliwell, Boyzone, and the Eurythmics, all in concert for the Prince's Trust. Party in the Park 99. Saturday, September 25th, only on pay-per-view.
Call TCI today.
Early Edition with Carol Lynn and Leon Harris. Weekdays on CNN.
Tonight, Vice President Al Gore will ask him about hurricane relief efforts, the horrible shooting tragedy in Texas, and his White House run. The Executive Vice President of the National Rifle Association, Wayne LaPierre, will join us too. Has new gun violence put his group back in the political crosshairs? Following up on last night's deadly attack during a teen prayer service in Fort Worth, we'll hear from the pastor of the Wedgwood Baptist Church, Al Meredith. Plus the latest on Floyd. The storm's a lot weaker than it was, but we're still talking wild weather. All next on Larry King Live. The Vice President of the United States is with us in our studios here in Los Angeles. We're going to start in Fort Worth, Texas, with Reverend Al Meredith, senior pastor of the Wedgwood Baptist Church, and Jay Fannin, a youth minister at that church. Jay and Reverend Al were both witnesses to the horror that occurred last night. Reverend Meredith, what was happening when this happened? Where were you and what occurred?
I wasn't on the premises when it began. I had just gotten home, gotten back into Fort Worth from a trip home from my mother's funeral. There was a rally, youth rally in the sanctuary with a number of churches. They were celebrating the morning's meetings at the pole. See You at the Pole was this Wednesday morning. One of our members was conducting prayer meeting in the fellowship hall just adjacent to the sanctuary when this tragedy occurred.
And when you got there, what did you see?
First thing I saw was people running around, and then I saw my staff counselor lying on the ground, and I came over and saw a bullet hole in his side and medics trying to calm him, and I prayed with him, and then just began trying to run where I could help wherever I could.
One can never expect things like this, but we've seen so much of it lately. I was wondering, what was the first thing went through your mind?
Just who's hurt and why and what can be done to help.
Jay Fannin, you are a youth minister at the church. Where were you when Mr. Ashbrook, who's since killed himself, started all this?
I was in the balcony running PowerPoint for the band that was playing. So I was actually in the sanctuary when all this took place.
And what did you see?
I was sitting on the front row of the balcony, basically. I heard glass break and what sounded like a pop gun go off. I saw several of the youth on the front section, scatter, as well as the band that was playing. They all kind of jumped behind speakers and jumped behind anything they could find. I had no idea what was going on. I was hoping this was just a joke, but I ran downstairs to see what was going on.
And did you see people wounded?
When I got to the bottom of the stairs, still thinking this was a horrible joke someone was pulling on us, I heard our staff counselor crying for someone to call 911. I then ran into the church office and proceeded to call 911 in doing so.
Reverend Meredith, Reverend Meredith, this is a youth group meeting in a church, being shot. Do you know? Did you know Larry Ashbrook, the person who committed the crime?
No, sir, not at all.
What do you make of all of this?
Oh, Larry, I can't make sense of the actions. I can't explain them. I haven't been able to watch any television. I've seen maybe 5-10 minutes of it in the morgue or in the jail or in the hospitals. I can't make sense of why this would happen at all, other than overall, I know God's in control. That's a statement of faith, and that's what I cling to.
Do you know, Reverend, the people that were killed?
I know many of them, not all of them. There were several churches that were combined together for this youth rally, but I believe 8 were killed. I didn't know the shooter, and 5 of them were involved with our church.
Jay Fannin, did you know any of the people who died?
I knew all but one of the youth and the shooter himself.
What are your feelings today?
Shocked that all this took place. However, relieved to a very small extent the fact that there were some 400 kids in there all standing up. This guy comes in and starts shooting 100 rounds or so of bullets, and so few were hurt. It's terrible, the sorrow that I feel, but there's God's grace at work at the number that were not hurt.
It's amazing there weren't more. The Vice President of the United States is here with us, and he may have a question or a comment to either the Reverend or Jay or both of you. Al?
Well, first of all, my prayers are with those who have been victims and their families. And Reverend Meredith, I'm sorry about the passing of your mother. You have had quite an ordeal. And I was just wondering, I know that you're no doubt thinking right now about what you're going to try to say on Sunday. And if you could say something now to all of those around the country who are prepared to listen to your words, what would you say about how a person of faith moves on after a tragedy like this?
Our hearts are broken for the families and their loved ones, and yet of the people we know, we haven't lost a single one of them. We know exactly where they are. Jesus Christ himself said that he was the resurrection and the life, and whoever lives and believes in Jesus Christ would never die. Though our bodies pass away, our soul and our spirit are forever with him. And so we grieve, but not as those that have no hope. Our hope is in Jesus Christ, and that's a confidence that in the midst of a tragedy like this grows stronger as we band together. It's not whistling in the dark. It is a confidence born out of a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Reverend Meredith, and thank you, Jay. Let's get an update and go to Long Island, New York, where Deborah Fyrick is standing by, our CNN correspondent, on the scene in the, what might be called, I was going to say the aftermath of Floyd. It doesn't look like an aftermath, Deborah. What's going on?
No, Larry, this is definitely not the aftermath. The beach is just behind us. Right now, this is the worst part of the storm. Very powerful winds gusting anywhere between 45 to 70 miles an hour. At times, it's almost impossible to get a foothold in the sand as you walk along the dunes. Feels like a million tiny pinpricks. We can even sort of show you there's a light just set up behind us there. That's part rain, but it's also part sand, so you can get a feeling for what it's like out here. Now, the high winds are the biggest problem at this time. Several trees have been toppled because it's been raining so much. The roots are weak, and also all it takes is a big gust to blow those trees down. About 67,000 homes were without power across Long Island. You don't have to look very far for the reason. It's the storm. As the storm moves across Long Island, it's taking the electricity with it. About a third of those homes now have power restored. There were some people who were evacuated, specifically from Fire Island, a very popular summer resort. Some folks went to a local school. One woman said she lives alone out here and she was afraid that a tree might fall on her house. But for the most part, this is now a tropical storm, and Suffolk County officials say that they are counting their blessings because this really could have been a lot worse. Larry?
Thank you, Deborah. Get some relief. Flip Spicen, are you there in Atlanta?
I am indeed, Larry.
Okay, we got about a minute to a break, and then I want to spend some time, of course, with the Vice President. She's right in the middle of what?
Right now. The center of it is right now moving right across Long Island. Now, it's not a very well-defined center as we had earlier, but you can see the center of the storm right now moving on across. And as a matter of fact, 1 hour ago, when we got our latest statistics, it's moving at 30 miles an hour, and it was 25 miles east-southeast of New York. So it's just now passing right across Long Island, as we said, the center of the storm as it is, Larry. So she is standing in where the eye would be if there were still an eye.
Thanks, Flip. We'll be checking back with everybody later, and we'll continue with the Vice President of the United States right after this.
The garage is on the wrong side. We got a problem on 36. Mike, get over here. Greg, get down. Jim, I need that cement truck.
Only the Nextel Business Network connects local companies with our digital two-way radio feature, so you can reach who you need faster.
Oh, it's perfect.
Now it's perfect.
Greg, we have a problem.
Nextel, how business gets done. Years before America's electric cooperatives forged the nationwide alliance, Touchstone Energy, neighbors built their own electric utility to power lives and communities. Now Touchstone Energy cooperatives serve millions of homes and businesses. Customers large and small get state-of-the-art technology and affordable service. From the one-room schoolhouse to the communities and businesses of tomorrow, trust Touchstone Energy, the power of human connections. We are America's electric cooperatives.
Posted pop-up notes pop up one at a time from the new dispenser. Now you'll always know where your Post-it notes are. So you won't go nuts looking for nuts. Posted pop-up notes. What did you ever do without them?
While Johnny Kim was getting ready for the first customers of the day, someone else was looking at larger space for his growing business. At 3 o'clock, while the Curtis family was watching their daughter's soccer game, someone else was walking a prospective tenant through one of their apartment buildings. And while Carmen Delabar was preparing for a fashion show, someone else met with an appraiser about her investment property. You've got a life. We let you live it. We're realtors. Real estate is our life.
Mega search. Find it right now. TheBigHub.com.
Lots of things to talk about, and it's great to welcome the Vice President on one of his many occasions to visit this program, many of them historic, we might add. We hate to do it on sad occasions. Wait, the Reverend mentioned faith. You asked him what he's going to say. You're a man of faith. How do you keep your faith when you see homes blown away, people killed, innocent people? What keeps you believing?
Well, there are people of many different faith traditions in our country who fall back on their faith in times of tragedy and challenge. And one article of my faith is that we are not given to know the reasons for all the things that happen in this world. I believe that every person has the capacity for both good and evil, but we are given the ability to overcome evil with good, but we have to choose to do so and be intentional about it.
Do you ever doubt it?
Doubt
faith?
No, I don't.
Never do? Never do?
No.
All right, first on the weather situation. What are we doing as a nation? Is New York now going to be a disaster area too? How do we determine this? What's happening?
Well, the storm is weakened, and you could still have storm surges. It's still a dangerous situation, but obviously with the winds a little bit slower now, a good bit slower than they were when the hurricane hit North Carolina, the danger is diminished somewhat. The preparations were not in vain, though. I'm convinced that many, many lives were saved because of the evacuation and all the preparations. You know, 3 weeks ago, Tipper and I were with our family just off just off Wilmington, North Carolina, right where the this hurricane came across.
Vacationing?
Yes, we were at Figure 8 Island, and as far as I could tell from the maps, that's just exactly where it came. We were there when Dennis came through, and in fact, there was an evacuation order of the island, and we left 2 days early.
You support, even though there are those who say evacuation may have been premature and maybe it shouldn't have been done in South Florida, you're saying better to fault on the side of caution.
I think so, because this storm had the potential for doing an incredible amount of damage if it had headed in a slightly different angle. It was huge. At the peak, of course, it was like 600 miles across, very strong winds. So sure, erring on the side of caution to save lives is absolutely the right thing to do. Now, I think we also, in the aftermath of this, should pay a good bit of attention to how we can prevent damage. There's a program called Project Impact that FEMA has. James Lee Witt, who runs FEMA, does a great job. He has a great team. And these governors have done a good job in mobilizing for this hurricane. And part of what's needed now is to anticipate future damage. They tell us that there could be a half dozen more hurricanes during this hurricane season. Maybe not, but that's what the median projection is. And of course, in years to come, scientists say they could become stronger with the warming trends. And so we need to pay a lot more attention to prevention. But for now, I think we can celebrate the good job that all the federal and state emergency teams did.
We'll be right back with Vice President Al Gore, and we'll talk about Fort Worth right after this.
The AIM Investor Pop Quiz. I should panic if interest rates rise, technology stocks fall, my daughter starts liking boys. Invest for the long term. Invest with discipline. AIM Mutual Funds.
Medicine is always changing. The managed care companies that did not change did not survive. With managed care, or HMO, health maintenance organization, the word that I think a lot of us are forgetting is that word health. Health is what it's all about, and that's what we're trained for. Prevent disease before it occurs, because if you catch it late, then you have more cost. And so you want to provide better quality to the patient initially. Preventive medicine is probably the best it's ever been.
Today's managed health care, there's a lot to feel good about.
So I like managed care because I can treat people earlier.
Where is it written that one must choose between adventure and creature comforts? There's a cruise line that says you don't have to choose.
You come to me, give me everything I need.
One cruise line, Celebrity.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone.
Beginning June in Europe, adventure and comfort come wrapped in a brand new package, a magnificent ship called Millennium. Be the first to sail Celebrity's new Millennium. This is the way to see Europe.
You're simply the best.
The AIM Investor Pop Quiz. College may cost over $100,000. You should gamble on a hot stock tip, put everything in a savings account, smile and heat up a bottle. Invest for the long term. Call your financial consultant about AIM Mutual Funds.
Here we go again. Guns, shooting, deaths, Fort Worth. What do you say?
Well, hurricanes are something that happen to us, but this tragedy in Fort Worth, like too many before it, are tragedies that is a tragedy that people do to people. And although there are a lot of complicated factors involved, there are a lot of factors that are under our control that we can change. And there are a lot of mysteries. What was in this person's mind, we will never know that. But the easy availability of deadlier and deadlier guns in the hands of people who shouldn't have them is making incidents that in the past would have been less tragic into these terrible, horrible incidents. And I think the vast majority of the American people believe that enough is enough, and among the changes that we ought to make is a new approach to trying to outlaw guns like these assault weapons and license those who purchase handguns like the ones that were used here, track these weapons, have child safety trigger locks, reinstate the 3-day waiting period under the Brady Law, and other changes that I think can really make a difference.
You don't want to ban them. You don't want to see the...
Oh, I think that we should ban so-called junk guns. I think we should ban assault weapons like the weapons used here. Yes, I think that the kinds of weapons that have no legitimate use for hunting or the kind of weapon that a homeowner would use, I think they should be banned, yes, those kind of weapons.
Could Wayne LaPierre, who's going to be on later, could he say something tonight that would make you happy? What do you want the NRA to do?
I'm sorry I can't do the whole hour with you tonight, Larry.
With him?
Well, I would like to pass on a question or to leave it on the desk here for when he gets here. I'd like him...
We could even tape it and play it to him.
I'd like him to answer this question. If he were asked by a young person, has it come to this? Are we not even safe in church now? What's his answer to that? I think a lot of people have heard the tricky arguments and all of the rationalizations, and I think they just have had enough of it. We have a flood of guns that are too deadly. They're in the wrong hands. It's different from any other country on earth. And nobody's talking about taking guns away from hunters or sportsmen or banning all guns. Nobody's talking about that. What we're talking about are the kinds of weapons that are used by criminals used in this tragedy, the weapons that get into the wrong hands that we've got to do something about.
Senator Hatch said yesterday that gun prosecutions have dropped dramatically under the Clinton administration for over 7,000 in 1992 to 3,800 last year. And he said, it's very nice, this is his direct quote, it's nice to mouth off about gun control. We've got lots of laws on the books. They're just not enforced.
Well, I don't think that's right. I agree with the principle that all the laws should be vigorously enforced. I think that's a point of agreement. The long prison terms for gun crimes and violations of the gun laws are up by 25% since 1992. So I'm not sure he's measuring all of the prosecutions.
So when they say you're doing this, you don't want gun laws, you just want an issue of gun laws.
No.
Yeah, and they're all saying that. I mean, the other side is.
I think I speak for virtually everyone who has the point of view that I have on this in saying that we would certainly welcome a solution to this problem immediately and surrender any political...
You would love this to be a non-issue tomorrow.
Of course. We're talking about the saving of lives. We're talking about, too many hearts have been broken. Too many families have suffered the incredible pain that these families in Fort Worth are going through now.
Do you ever thought as to why there's more of it? You have any? I mean, we're all...
Oh, I think there are a lot of factors involved. I think the breakdown of the family, violence in entertainment, we need better parenting, the incidence of drug use in our society.
More of us?
Perhaps. And I think that there are all these factors and others. But the one thing that virtually all these incidents have in common is very deadly weapons of the kind that didn't exist in the past. These automatic, semi-automatic handguns and assault weapons, they really have no place in our society.
We'll be right back with Vice President Gore for more moments, touch on a couple of political issues. Later, Wayne LaPierre, and we'll ask him that question. Don't go away.
Look cheap. That's why since 1986, we've helped millions get the lowest airfares. Cheap tickets, because you're cheap, and so are we.
Aren't there enough reasons in your life to talk to your doctor about Zocor? To learn more about Zocor, ask your doctor. Zocor, be there.
You're looking at someone who just bought a home with no down payment. How? He called Ditech.com and borrowed 125% of the purchase price. With your good credit, you too can finance up to $500,000 with no down payment. Use the extra cash to pay closing costs, pay off bills, or buy new furniture. Buy a home of your own with no down payment. Call Ditech.com at 1-800-71-FIXED for the 125 Dream Loan today.
The computers become a stage for the entire planet. Better get a good seat. Hayworth, furniture for what's next.
Couple of political things with the vice president. We can't let him go without a few. CNN has learned that you and other top officials are talking to the very popular mayor of Philadelphia, Ed Rendell, about taking a top post with the Democratic National Committee. True?
It's premature to talk about that. I'll say Ed's a very capable person who is a great leader, not only among Democrats, but independents, independently thinking Republicans. He's been a fantastic mayor, one of the best, and he brings people together. And I would hope that he'll play a significant role of some kind. But it's premature to talk about specifics.
Democratic strategists are saying, they've told CNN and the Washington Post, that you're very concerned about this Governor Bush's $50 million war chest.
Well, I don't think that.
You worry about money on the other side?
Republicans always have more money, a lot more money than Democrats do, and because the constituency is very different. The interests they represent, generally speaking, are different. I don't want to pigeonhole him just on that, but that's just a fact. And yet Democrats win more than our share of national elections, not because of money, but because the American people agree with us on issues. Now, separate and apart from this incident in Fort Worth, you know, we have differences on these issues, Democrats and Republicans. I think that instead of having more protections for the gun industry, we need more protections for children and families. Instead of blowing the surplus on a risky tax scheme that would put us right back into deficits and take away the chance to invest in our future, I think we ought to use the surplus to save Social Security first and fix Medicare and provide a prescription drug benefit for seniors and pay down the debt, keep interest rates low, keep our prosperity going. But instead of draining money away from public schools for private schools out of the public budget, I think we should invest in teachers and build new schools and modernize them.
So you don't go around worrying that he's got $50 million,
no, because
you're going to be outspent.
I think that the issues are with the Democratic Party. I think that a lot of Republicans support the point of view that I've been expressing here. Look at the Patient's Bill of Rights. I think these decisions on health care ought to be taken out of the hands of these HMO bureaucrats who don't have a license to practice medicine and who don't have a right to play God. I think the decisions ought to be in the hands of doctors and medical professionals. Those are differences that I think are very powerful and overcome what's always the case, that the other side will have more money.
Two other quick things, and we know you got to go. Should Governor Bush tell us about his past? I mean, the drug issue should...
Oh, look...
do we have the right to know that in political figures? Well, as a concept.
I would turn the question around and say, I think that he has the right to give the answer that he did. And then you can accept it or not, but I think I think he has a perfect right to
not answer it or
absolutely.
Answer it? Okay.
I do.
How about releasing averages in school? He won't release his high school or college averages.
I think he has the right to...
Would you release yours?
Oh, I think that's...
Is that silly? Silly on both parts?
I think that it's... I don't think that we want to conduct election campaigns that way. I just think I mean, I'm proud of that, but I'm not gonna, you know, release that. I just don't think that.
You mean you're proud of your school record?
Sure, but
you're not going to release it.
No. Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about how we prepare for the 21st century. Let's talk about how we have change that works for working families. You know, we have a lot of prosperity in America today.
Sure do.
And it's based on balancing the budget, investing in the future, opening new markets, streamlining, reinventing government. That formula works. We've got to build on the progress we have made and create change that works for working families. Now, the other side is saying, let's take a right-wing U-turn, go back to the future, back to the old approach, take the surplus, blow it away, just give a, you know, risky tax scheme, don't invest in the future. Instead, just give it to these tax schemes that don't work.
We only got 30 seconds. Do you think this election will be decided on issues?
I do.
No matter who the nominees are, this will be a...
I think the fact that we are starting a new century, new millennium, new era, underscores the significance of this election, which is a fork in the road. Which way are we going to go? Are we going to keep making progress? Are we going to have change that works for American families? Or are we going to go back to the old Reagan-Bush supply-side approach that quadrupled our debt in a dozen years, gave us the biggest deficits in history, the crime rate went up, the environment got worse, all the problems got worse? It's not an accident that we have had the kind of progress we've had in the last 6.5 years, but it's not good enough. I'm not satisfied. Let's build on this foundation and make the kind of progress that can prepare us for the 21st century and create change that works for working families.
Thanks, Mr. Vice President. Always good seeing you. We'll be seeing a lot of you.
I'm looking forward
down
to it,
the trail. Vice President Al Gore. More to come on Larry King Live. Don't go away.
Tonight, teens speak out on violence. Has it become all too familiar? CNN Newsstand. Tonight, 10/9 Central on CNN.
Chang's Mongolian Grill. Try our new location at 251st and Powell.
It's coming. Something so big, it will change the way you shop forever. It's the big event at Standard TV and Appliance.
Standard has cut prices on Whirlpool, KitchenAid, GE, Maytag, RCA, Mitsubishi, and more.
Plus 0% financing now at Standard TV and Appliance.
Now in Portland, Tigard, and Beaverton.
There has never been a sale this big before. The big event, now at Standard TV and Appliance.
Sports Tonight with Fred and Vince, 11 Eastern on CNN.
We're back on Larry King Live. We're now going to go back to first to Fort Worth, Texas, where Nikki Fannin is standing by. We spoke to Jay, her husband, and we're happy to have her with us. And joining us from Louisville, Kentucky, is R. Albert Mulder, Jr. He's been with us before. He's president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. Nikki, where were you when this went on? Your husband told us where he was. Where were you?
I was covering the CD table where all the music stuff was. I was with 3 other ladies there when we saw the gunman walk in, and we didn't recognize him, and then when I looked up, I saw him. He was turned to the right, and that's where he started shooting.
You saw him walk in?
Yes.
How did he look? Were you fearful just looking? What went through your mind?
Run. He just, first thing I noticed is when we just heard the gun and he started shooting. He was looking to the right of him. I didn't see him face to face, and we just ran. I ran to the office door and it was locked, so I ran into the sanctuary to tell the kids to get down.
There's no time, Nikki, at a time like that to do any thinking, but all of this, in retrospect now, looking back 24 hours, had to be a horror scene for you.
It was pretty horrible.
Did you know some of the people who died?
Yes, I do, and I just have to say that I thank God because he just stayed and paced in the back of the church, and I just feel that God's presence and Jesus Christ was there, and he protected us because I was only 4 pews away from him where many people were, and he could have done so much worse, and I just thank the Lord.
So you agree with your husband, this could have been tragedy. Deaths are always a tragedy. This could have been a lot worse, Nikki?
Oh, you'd have to be there to really understand what I'm talking about. And, you know, he walked through the church very calmly. He walked through the whole church. When he got in the sanctuary, he stayed in the back and shot from there. And it was just the Lord. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
I understand. Albert Mohler, president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. This was a Baptist church. Is this part of your group in a concept? Is this one of your followings?
Yes, this is a very well-known Southern Baptist church in Fort Worth, Texas, a church with a very well-known ministry and a wonderful reputation, a very fine and faithful pastor you had with you even tonight.
Did you hear what Reverend Meredith had to say?
Yes, I did. I was very, very moved by his words. That's a man who, as a pastor of that church, is carrying an enormous responsibility as he is seeking to minister to his people, to witness to the gospel, and to try to explain this to a world that is asking the question, why?
And the Vice President said some things are not explainable, but you keep your faith. You share that view?
Well, certainly our faith is stronger than any event such as this. As a matter of fact, as the New Testament says, we do grieve, and grief is an appropriate response here, but we do not grieve as Christians who have our faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and in the promise of his resurrection. We do not grieve as those who have no hope. You know, the amazing thing is that those young people went to the poll yesterday morning to bear witness to their faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. They gathered together last night from many different schools and many different places in order to celebrate together their witness and the opportunity the Lord had given them. Little did they know the opportunity they were about to experience, literally, for some of them, the witness of martyrdom.
But they died, Mr. Mohler. They died. 7 of them died. If they had to do it all over again, you think they'd still go?
Well, you know, they're not here to answer that question. But I do know that even in the midst of the shooting last night, one 19-year-old man stood up as the gunman was exchanging clips, and he said, I know what you need. You need the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, that's a bravery I think the world has a hard time understanding. The clarity of that young man's witness is absolutely incredible. I do not know how those young people would have prepared themselves had they known what they faced. But they had already, in the course of that day, borne witness to what was most important in their life, their faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, and their determination to be bold witnesses in his name.
Albert, what do you make of all of this, what's going on in the country?
Well, I think we're reaping what we have been sowing. Ideas have consequences, and I think what we have let loose in this country is now coming back in the form of a violence that, quite frankly, is unbelievable. If we tally all of this up, it all comes back to the basic spiritual problem, the problem of sin. We can put metal detectors in every doorway and x-ray machines, but the bottom line is there is evil in the hearts of human beings, and this is one representation of that awful evil for which, quite frankly, the gospel of Jesus Christ is the only answer.
Don't you think it unusual that would happen in a church and a school?
Well, Larry, we have seen that these incidents are taking place in locations we had considered sanctuaries of sort and safe. But
Correct.
To go into a church, and not just a church, but a church where this kind of bold witnessing activity was taking place, this was an intentional, strategic, demonic, evil intent on the heart of this man. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was not there in terms of some kind of accident when he meant to be somewhere else. He intended to do just what he did.
Oh. Thank you, Al. We agree with you. Albert Mohler Jr. and Nikki, thank you very much,
Yes.
Nikki. You're a brave young lady.
Thank you.
Nikki Fannin and Albert Mohler Jr. We'll take a break and come back, and we'll talk to Wayne LaPierre, the Executive Vice President and CEO of the National Rifle Association. We'll pose the question that Al Gore posed to him, and others as well. Don't go away.
Cassie got shot. Where? I don't know. She was in a meeting.
I don't know.
And she's like on the ground and there's a hole in her neck and water's coming out.
High roads of the future.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
To me, there are many definitions of democracy. I myself prefer a simple definition, which is a system of government supported by the people, which produces a high quality of life for the people.
It is easier to promote civil liberties when a society is economically developed. It's more difficult to promote the concept of importance of going to vote when you're hungry.
Democracy is either genuine or not genuine.
We don't come from a democratic tradition, but we need to if we're going to have the different kind of society where politics matter, where people matter.
I think the whole world is moving toward more openness, more transparency. I don't think you can deny human beings from participating in the affairs that would have implications on them.
You know, democracy is not the sole possession of the West or the East or any particular country. Democracy is the way of life of the people.
This Voices of the Millennium has been brought to you by United Airlines. Rising is a daily commitment to make flying more civilized. United is rising.
Places than any airline in the world. Rising is global.
Osteoporosis causes bones to become brittle and break. But there's something you can do to